What if you could build your own AI trading assistant, one that researches stocks, analyzes market trends, and gives you clear trade insights, fully automated? That's exactly what I have built using OpenAI's new agent builder, an incredibly easy to use platform that lets you create and connect intelligent agents without needing deep programming skills. You can visually design workflows where multiple AI agents collaborate just like a real research team, and the best part is you can build it too. In this example, I've created two agents working together in a workflow: a stock research agent, which is going to search the web for the latest financial updates, earnings, and analyst sentiments. Then there is a trade decision agent, and it analyzes the research and delivers a clear market view, bullish, bearish, or neutral, along with key reasons and risks. Together, they form a smart, connected trading workflow, showing how easy it is to bring real world AI automation to life. Let's get started. And if you want to go beyond this demo and actually learn how to build AI chatbots, RAG, agents, and all that, here is my complete generative AI course on Udemy. It's a hands-on beginner-friendly course that takes you through the entire generative AI landscape, from the foundations of generative AI like transformer architecture, large language models, to the parts of how to access OpenAI, Gemini, and different models, all the way up to building RAG pipelines, building AI agents, MCP servers, and also we have capstone projects, three complete end-to-end generative AI systems that brings all these skills together into production-grade solutions. So please check this out. If interested, you can enroll and start learning there. So whether you're a beginner exploring AI or a professional looking to stay ahead, this is your chance to master a modern AI system, think, reason, and act. Click the link below in the description, join the course, and start building your own AI copilots and multi-agent workflows today. So let's get started with today's video now. So to build this agent, go to Google and search for OpenAI Agent Builder. And here you will see this web page on Agent Builder Guide. So click this, and here you will see an option to open Agent Builder. So this is one way of accessing this. And there is another way of just going to this site, platform.openai.com/agent builder. So this is where we are going to build this, and you should already have a account. So I've created an account, and I also have some credits into it. So you might want to add some credits or try if there are some free models available, but I have like few dollars in it, and the API call is going to consume it. So let's see how we can build this agent now. So that's the main prerequisite. Have a OpenAI account, and then you can simply start creating this. So here in this agent builder, you will see this create button, and here we will see this start. It is like the start node for our workflow, and then we have this agent in place. This is kind of a placeholder, and from this we can start building our own agents. Let's see how we can do this. As I said earlier, we are going to create two main agents. One is a research agent that's going to collect all this data and summarize this, and then we have a trade agent which is going to understand this research summary and make a decision of whether to buy it or not. And this is grounded with different key reasons of why we have to do that, suggested action, risk factors, and so on. So this is what we are going to build. Now I'm going to click this my agent that we are seeing here. So my agent is the name of the agent that it has been assigned over here. So here we can rename this to something like stock research agent. You can give any name. So I'll call this as stock research agent. And here we have the instruction. So here we can instruct what we want the agent to be and what's its purposes. You can start typing here, or you can expand from this below. And here you can add your instructions as prompt. So I've already created a well-structured prompt. I'll just like paste it over here. So it says you are a helpful and analytical stock research assistant. When a user asks about any company or stock, you must search the internet for the latest and most relevant information such as news, earnings, forecast, stock price, etc. So I have this basically like all these instructions are present over here, and then I can click on this save, right? And model, you can choose like different models. So GPT-5, which is the latest model. So if you are concerned about the cost, in that case you can go with the GPT-5 mini, which is going to cost less. So you don't need to kind of add credits just to access this. You can just access this even if you don't have any credits on your account. It's just that when we are running this agent, then that's the case when it's going to kind of like use that credit. So it's not like you need some money in your account to access this. So that's not the case. And again, as I said, if you're concerned, you can just choose a model that has like a kind of decent pricing instead of like GPT-5. Okay, so that's one thing. Reasoning effort, you can just keep it as low. If you want a better reasoning model, just like select here and give like high reasoning, but this should be sufficient for us. And yeah, in the output format, I'm going to make this as a JSON so that we have a structured output format and it can be like propagated better. So I've selected JSON, and here we can add a schema, and this schema I'm going to call this as research output schema. Okay, so this is a variable name that we are creating, and within that let's have a key value pair called as research summary. So this is the output that this first agent is going to give us. So it does like a detailed research and creates a summary and gives this in this key value pair, and the key name is research summary and the type is going to be a string. So let's update this. And also in the tool we know that it should kind of get real-time information, right? So in that case we can use this web search. And here if you want specific sites, like let's say Yahoo Finance or like well trusted sites, in that case you can mention this. What basically happens is, instead of looking throughout the web, it kind of tells the agent that you should only look at these trusted sites. You can add that, but for simplicity I'm just going to leave it as is. And again, country you can select. If let's say the user is trying this from India or some other countries, you can also select that as well, but I'm going to leave it like as it is, and just like click this add. So first we have created a stock research agent, given it like proper instruction, selected the model, selected the tool, and also we have kind of selected a output format and how the output should be. So we have given those. Now this is our first agent. Now we have to create a second agent that's going to get the research information from this agent and make a trade decision. So here on this left side you can click on this agent, and that's going to create this agent box over here. So click this circle that you see here and you can join these two. Now this is going to be our trade decision agent. So I'll rename this to trade decision agent, right? And this agent doesn't need any tools because it's just going to look at this research data and it's going to summarize this, so it's not going to require any tools. And here let's give the instruction for it. So let's be clear and also mention like how we want the output to be. So I'll paste this thing that I've already created. Okay, so the main purpose is it's basically has to understand the research summary and make a trade decision, and this is what we are expecting as the output. Not only just like buy or sell, so we also want these information: stock name, what is the current view, whether it's bullish, bearish, or neutral, and suggested action, whether we have to buy this stock, hold this stock, or sell the particular stock. So you can say that research about Nvidia, and it's going to give you all these information. Key reasons on like why you have to buy, hold, or sell a particular stock, and what are the risk factors are if applicable, like what are all the risk factors that are present over there. You can just like frame these things and click on this save. So this is our instruction. Okay, and output format, now even this we can keep it as JSON, so that if we are using any downstream systems that can kind of handle this better. And this I'm going to call this as trade decision schema. Okay, and then here we can add the values are nothing but the one that we have discussed just now. So we have this stock, current view, and all those things, right? So I'll say one is stock, so all these can be type of string, and the other one is current view, whether it's bullish, bearish, and so on. So I'll call this current view. You can keep all these in lowercase letters without any spaces. You can just use underscores. And here I'm going to say suggested action. So what's the action we have to take? Buy, sell, or hold. Key reasons for that particular decision. And finally, we have the risk factors. Okay, so we have a stock, current view, suggested action, key reasons, and risk factors. So all these are strings. And update this. As I said, you don't need any tools for this. And the other important thing is, it's not like all the agents should have like one particular model. That's not the case. You can choose like different models for different agents. So how this would basically come into action is that there can be agents that are very simple, so they don't have like a complex task. In that case, you can choose models like GPT 3.5 Turbo or like smaller models that's not going to cost much. And then for like advanced agents, you can choose a reasoning model or like more larger model basically, and latest models that's going to give you better responses. So that is like the decision that you make. For again simplicity, I'll keep both these things as GPT-5. And finally I can add this end section. Okay, so this end is going to give us the final output, and I'll join these two. You don't have to change anything, so it automatically has this output schema as like response schema. You can change it if you want, but I'll leave it as is. So it's going to get the output and it's going to parse this output, and finally we would get this stock, current value, suggested action, and so on, whatever we have created over here. So yeah, this is basically the entire workflow. So it's like that simple. You don't have to do anything else. So now you can click on this publish. I'll name this as trading assistant workflow and publish. So this basically creates this workflow. Now let's understand how we can run this. There are two ways. One is ChatKit and the other one is Agents SDK. So here you have TypeScript option, or you can also run this Python program. So ChatKit is like you would copy this workflow ID and add this within your application. Let's say you already have a chatbot that's related to a financial application. There you can easily create a fast API backend and just like add this workflow ID. In that case, basically, let's say this code, whatever we are seeing, that is going to run on OpenAI server. You're just going to call the API, get the results. Whereas if you go with this agents SDK, in that case, you are deploying this on your machine, you're running this on your machine. It's completely fine. If you are very new to programming, I'll show you exactly how you can test this out even without installing anything. We will easily access Google Collaboratory, run this Python code and see how this agent works. So we will do that. So this is completely fine even if you are like kind of very new to programming as well. So I'll show you like all the steps that we need to do. So one is ChatKit, as I said. The other one is like running on our machine, which is this agents SDK. So when it's ChatKit, it's like hosted on their machine, their servers. When it's agents SDK, we are going to be charged only for the API key usage. Just like if you use OpenAI API, right, with your API key and all that, it's going to be charged for whatever API calls that the agent is kind of using internally. So it's not going to be that much if the number of requests is less. So for this, I've already clicked on this publish. Now I'm going to open this Google Collaboratory. Okay, before that, there is this another option called as preview. So this preview, when you click it, it's going to open a small chat box. There you can just like test this workflow out. You don't have to deploy this and all that. You can simply test it, but for that you need to verify this account. So you need to verify your organization. So there is some issue with my accounts. I'm not able to do this. So once you are kind of verified this with your personal documents and all that, you can just like access this preview features. I'll look into what's the issue with my account probably like later. Okay, so the next step is testing this out. So I'll go to Google, search for Google Collaboratory, where we just basically run Python codes. So to those who haven't used this Google Collaboratory. So once you're in this collab.research.google.com, click this new notebook. So that's going to create kind of like a new notebook file where you can write your Python codes, and it gets connected to Google's backend server, and that's where our code is going to run. So even you don't have to install Python or any other softwares in your machine. So that's the idea. And I'll call this as trading assistant agent builder. Okay. So now we need to install some libraries for this. Yeah, so if you just open this agent builder code, right, so you have this workflow and on top you have this code. Go to this agents SDK. This is TypeScript, so you have to choose Python over here and copy this entire code and paste it. Maybe I'll create another cell over here and I'll paste my code over there. Okay, so we haven't kind of written any of this code. So we have just like given this name of the agent, instructions, tool that it has to use, and so on. The agent builder automatically builds this Python code, but we need to do like very minor additions to this, like installing the libraries, calling this execution functions, and so on. So you can just have this particular notebook file. I'll share this notebook file. You can keep this as your template file, and if you are building some other what you call, if you are building some other agents, you can just like follow the same process of adding libraries, installing libraries, and so on. So here I'll say exclamatory mark pip install pydantic OpenAI and OpenAI agent. So these are the libraries it's going to need. So I'll run this. So that is the first step. So queue is quiet mode, so you won't see like all this intermediate results of the libraries installed and so on. Okay, otherwise you will see like several lines of output that about like library installation. So the next step is saving your OpenAI API key to your environment variable. So you can either put it in your secrets over here in Google Collaboratory, or you can just like add it directly in your code. This is because your agents internally call OpenAI's GPT LLMs, and for that it needs your API key. Okay, so this is where you're going to be charged based on the LLM calls that it make. And again, if you make very few calls, it's not going to cost much, but keep track of how much you are spending. So don't kind of like miss that and make several calls, because like it may kind of give you some like larger bill. So just be cautious on how much you are using. And for creating the OpenAI API keys, go to Google, search for OpenAI API key, and this is the site. create an OpenAI API key, platform.openai.com API keys. So there, again, you have to be logged in here, and you will see this create new secret key over here. So I'll click this and I'll call this as trading agents API key. You can give any name over here, so that's not important. And click this create secret key with the default values and copy this over here. So now we are going to save this. I'll say import OS. This is to save that environment variable. Just think about this as like a safe space from which we can access this API key. So I'll call this os.environ, and the variable name should be environment variable name is OpenAI API key. Okay, so OpenAI underscore API underscore key, and here I'm going to paste my API key. Right, and now the libraries are installed, and we have saved this API key in the environment variable. And then just like make sure you run this, you can click on this run button or simply press shift plus enter. That's going to execute this cell. You can see the execution going on here, and it would automatically bring this cursor to the next cell. Similarly, press shift plus enter, again shift plus enter. So now we have created the agent code. This is our function run workflow. Now we have to call this function, so that is our next step. Again, for that I've created a template code. If you're working on some other agents, you can simply use this template code, put this in ChatGPT and ask it to reframe this based on like this agent code. So you don't even have to like kind of work detailing on that. So ChatGPT is capable of doing that. You need to add these two lines, nest async IO, nest async IO dot apply. So it's kind of related to what we call as a asynchronous thread. So there is like a thread that is already running in Jupyter notebooks. So this code also runs on asynchronous way. So it's kind of like making sure that it's not getting affected by it. It's more to it. So I'm just trying to keep the definitions simple. So whenever you are running this code over here, run these two lines: import nest async IO, nest async IO dot apply. If you are running this on a PyCharm, VS Code or some IDEs, you don't have to do this. Just because this is a Jupyter notebook, there is an event loop that's already running. If you try to create a new one, that's going to throw an error. So that's like a simple explanation for that. So this two lines, you can keep it as it is. And then this is the code that I was talking about. So just like paste this code, what you see over here. Let's say you create a new agent and you would get a new code right from agent builder. Copy that, paste it in ChatGPT and paste this code as well, and ask ChatGPT to reframe this code based on the agent code that you have over here, and it would be able to do that. So that's the idea. And this is just to ignore the warnings, because there is some depreciation error with the pydantic library. So it creates shows that warnings in red. So I don't want to see that in my final output. So I'm saying that ignore those warnings for now. So that's the whole idea. I'll explain this code in a very simple way, but first let's run this. So the main idea here is, so it says stock research and trade decision bot, type exit to quit. So when you type this exit or buy, it's going to stop running. So it's not going to call the agent. But let's say we give a stock name or a company name like Nvidia. Okay, so let's enter this, and now it's going to perform two operations. One is research operation with the stock research agent, and then it's going to run this trade decision agent. So these are the two steps that are going to happen. And if you want to see the intermediate results of the research summary and so on, you can just like go to this function. So you have this stock research agent result, right? You can print this stock research agent result, and you will see like the whatever output it has created and so on, just to see the intermediate results. Let's wait for this output. Let's see how it is working on. And again, this is going to keep running when you add like more companies and so on, because this is present within a while loop. Once you kind of enter exit or buy, it's going to stop. So that's the idea for it. Let's wait for this. It may take like a minute, probably because of like all the agents and aspects that we have. So just like be patient when we get it. Then I can explain you code probably. Okay, so this user input, we are using this input function, inbuilt function, to get the input from the user. And whenever the input is exit or buy, it's going to stop this execution. And then we have this input that we provide here. So the user gives a input. It can be a company name, stock, and so on, and it's going to pass this to run workflow, which is the agent function that we have created. Okay, and then we get the result, which is present in this result variable. So from that, we are simply printing the stock, current view, suggested action, and so on. So this is what you're seeing over here. First, it prints the stock value, current view is bullish, and the suggested action is buy or accumulate. And then key reasons: strong demand and guidance, management guided fiscal Q3 to 6. So it kind of gathers all this information from the internet, and it kind of has this risk factors and everything, so we get over here. And then you can also pass some other company name. Let's say that we want to check this for Tesla stock. Again, it's going to take few seconds or probably like a minute, but we will get the response over here. So this is the whole idea. So this loop is going to keep running until you type in exit, and once the agent execution is completed, you will see this all this final output, stock, current view, and so on. Again, one thing to be clear is that this is not running on OpenAI servers. We have used agent builder in order to just get the code, but we are running this from our own device, in this case, which is Google Collaboratory. All you have to do is provide the OpenAI API key, and this agent internally calls these LLMs to kind of do some tasks and let's say summarize the information and so on. So for that, let's say there are like 5 API calls that are involved. I'm just giving a random number. For those 5 API calls, you will be charged. So that's like the whole idea for this. So this is how you can create any agent workflows. All you have to do is like build a proper flow with all these agents and everything kind of like structured with proper instruction. So the instructions is the key, and the output format are like the very important aspects. If you want, you can also use ChatGPT to frame this better. Yeah, so that's the other main thing. And once you get this code, run this in a Python environment, and then you will be like good with that. It's usually doesn't take this much time, so I'm not sure like what's happening, but yeah, I don't think there would be any errors, but yeah, this shouldn't take this much time. Let's see. We have asked for Tesla stock, and now we got the output. So we have stock as Tesla incorporation, current view as neutral, leaning bearish, suggested action is hold or wait, key reasons, and the risk factors. So we like kind of get all these information. Similarly, you can keep adding more stocks, try to get a output, or you can just like, if you want to end this, you can press exit. So this we have just executed on a Jupyter notebook. Even you can make this as a kind of a simple looking app using a streamlit user interface where the user can type in this in the box, and they just like see like clear good looking UI and all that, and you finally print this information in proper boxes or in a more structured way. So this is how you can build this trading assistant using agent builder. Again, you don't have to do a large amount of the code. Agent builder automatically takes care of that. All we have to do is just like install the libraries, save the API keys and all that, and just like add this execution code and all that. In the later videos, I'll also maybe try showing you how to use this chat kit so that you can integrate that in your application, but this is the overall idea. So I'll share this notebook file with you, so please try this code, see if you can just like add some credits, and just like try running this agent workflow. Again, just use this as a template. It's this can be a simple workflow, but you can just like use this as a template, create more agents, more complex workflows, and orchestration layers, and then we can build like cool stuff with it. So that is all. So try this out, and if you are interested in the complete generative AI course, check out my Udemy link in the description. And yeah, that is all from my side, and I'll see you in the next upload. Thanks for watching.